So, who were the inventors? This is the topic which we are going to discuss today. Many inventions took place at that time, and you will surprised to know that who were the inventors. Were they skillful people in that particular field or not? Were they educated or not? So that we will discuss over here. Now, first of all, few of them trained scientists. The inventors were not like the scientists of today. Generally, they were having education in basic science like the physics and the chemistry, and it was very much limited to very less number of people. So many inventors who were there at that time, they were uneducated also. Abless thinker and continuous experiments caused these inventions they were doing in that particular field. So due to their working experience, they were able to invent new things. Most inventions were the production of determination, means they were strongly determined for people. They wanted to do something, they wanted to improve the technology, that's why they were able to invent, and they were having interest in that particular field. Only they were able to invent something new. They were also very curious people, and sometimes luck also favored them. As a result, maximum inventions at that time take place, and that we will discuss. Some inventors in the cotton industry like the John Kay and the James Hargreaves. John Kay designed the fly shuttle, and spinning jenny was by the Hargreaves were familiar with the skill of weaving. They were the weaver and the carpenter. They were not the engineer. They know the skill of weaving and carpentry, and with the help of that skill only, they were able to manufacture that kind of machine which solved the problem in textile industry to a great extent. Then Richard Arkwright, who was also an inventor in the textile industry, he was a barber and a wig maker. So he was also not an educated person or an engineer or a scientist, but still he made important invention at that time. Samuel Crompton was not a technically skilled person. Edmund Cartwright, he was studying literature, medicine and agriculture. He was also not an engineer. And he initially wanted to become a clergyman in the church, and he was having very less knowledge of the machine, but still he made an important invention. Then Thomas Savery, who made the first steam engine, he was an army officer. He was also not an engineer. Thomas Newcomen, the second steam engine was discovered by him. He was a blacksmith and locksmith. James Watt, who made the most successful engine, first time in the history of the steam engine. He was having a mechanical bent of mind, but he was not that great engineer. The road builder, the first road which was built by John Metcalfe, and he was a blind person, and he conducted all the essential survey for road building. So can you imagine a person who was a blind person, but still he was able to make the first road of the world after conducting a survey by himself. So these were the inventors, and they could be successful not because of their education or because of their technological skill. Rather, they became successful because of their hard work and determination. The canal builder James Brindley, who designed the first canal, that is the Worsley Canal, was almost illiterate. He was also not an engineer, but still he designed the first canal of the England. So these were the people who were having the strong determination and hard work. With the help of that, they were able to make very useful invention at that time. Now we will discuss about the changed lives. We discussed that the industrialization of England took place at that time. So a number of changes took place in the life of the people. So we will discuss about what changes took place in the life of workers or the people who used to live in the urban areas. Many rich individuals invested money in industry in the hope of making profit. Now industrialization was a profit-making business because raw material in England was obtained from the countries like India, and that used to be obtained at a very cheaper rate, and their finished product used to be sold in the country like India. So they used to take raw material from India and they used to sell the finished goods. And if somebody is taking raw material and he is selling the finished goods to someone, then who will be in the benefit? The seller of raw material or the seller of finished goods? Tell me, which is more profit making when we deal in the raw material or we deal in the finished goods? When we sell the finished good, because in that condition we add value to the already available product as a raw material, and by applying the technology that value addition can be done. As a result, the person who sells the finished good generally remains in the profit. So maximum rich individuals who were having enough money to invest in England, they invested in the industry. As a result, the rapid industrialization of England took place at that time. Their money capital multiplied because the demand of the industrial made goods were more in the colonial countries like India and around the world also. So whatever the production used to be there in the industry, that could be easily sold in the market. As a result, the money which they invested, that was multiplied in a very short period of time. Wealth in the form of goods, income, service, knowledge, and productive efficiency did increase dramatically because now the employment opportunities were increasing due to the development of the secondary sector, that is the industrial sector. The goods were also available in the market, while better choice was available for the consumer. The income of the people also generated because a number of people used to work in the industry, so they were getting handsome salary at that time. Services, because the availability of goods, there were many people available who were involved in the service like the transportation and international trade. So that uh, employment sector also increased dramatically. As a result, a large number of people were in the service sector as well. And because of the job in the service sector, they were also earning quite good amount of money. Knowledge also increased because of the industry, because technology also develops in the industry, and productive efficiency also increased of the worker because of the availability of new technology and machines. So these kind of changes took place in the England. As a result, the economy of England was boosted. But all these developments had a negative impact also. So we will discuss about that negative impact. There was negative impact also. First of all, the number of cities in England with a population of 50,000 grew from 2 to 29 by 1750 to 1850. Within 100 years. Earlier there used to be two bigger cities in England having population more than 50,000, but now there were 29. So we can say that there was rapid urbanization also, because there are always a relation between the industrialization and urbanization. If more industrialization is there, more urbanization will also be there. Because when the secondary sector develops, tertiary sector also develops. And when these two sectors develop, the urbanization takes place. Because if people are engaged in the primary sector, that is agriculture, then there will be less urbanization. And you can take example of any country where the people are more involved in the primary sector, they are having less urban areas. But where the people are more engaged in the secondary and tertiary sector, there will be more urban areas. So urban areas and industrialization go hand in hand. But there are no adequate housing. So rising population in the urban area leads to some problem. Generally, what kind of problem do we face in bigger cities? Can you tell me? Anyone out of you can tell me the problems which is generally faced in the metro cities of India? Yeah. What else? Housing problem, sanitary condition, drinking water, sanitation. All these problems are associated with the, yeah. So all these problems are generally confronted in the cities which are having more population. Like if we talk about the Indian cities, the largest number of people in Indian cities lives in Mumbai. So Bombay is having the maximum population in India. And where is the largest slum of the world? Where is the largest slum of the world? Can you tell Bombay? Name that slum. What is the name of that slum? Dharavi, which was in news due to this corona incident. So Dharavi is a bigger, used to be the largest. I think it is still the largest, and maximum number of people live in Dharavi, and that is very congested. There are many problems in Dharavi, like it is very congested. There is no proper sanitary condition, and especially Mumbai experienced the maximum number of corona cases because of the Dharavi, because it is very congested. So social distancing cannot take place in a slum like Dharavi. So these kind of problems are generally faced when rapid urbanization takes place, because the people from the surrounding areas migrate to the urban areas, and the proportion in which the people come in the urban areas, we can develop the basic infrastructure. So that was a problem at that time also in England. So there was no adequate housing. Housing problem was there. Like in Bombay, there is housing problem. No sanitation, no clean water could be provided to a large number of people. That clear? So you can see that these are the two images which had been shown over here. This is the image of the common people who used to live in these areas, and they were not having a good housing. And this is the house of the Darby family. Who were the Darbys? You know about that? The Darby family is the family of the blacksmith, and that was the first family who invented a lot of invention as far as the iron and steel industry was concerned. Like the bridge was designed by the Abraham Darby, who was the first person who invented the blast furnace, who used the coke instead of the charcoal. So a number of inventions were done by the Darby family. As a result, they also started setting up the industries with the passage of time, and they became quite rich. And they used to live in the large mansion as it is visible from the picture. But the common people were not having a good housing condition, and they have to remain in these houses in a large crowd. So there was a lot of problem which is experienced by the common people. But at the same time, the people who used to be rich, they were having their own houses which used to be quite bigger. So there were many writers who wrote about this, that the people who used to live in these big houses were enjoying the comfort because of the worker who used to live in the poor living condition. Now this is the image which tells us about the life of a common man in the urban. So they used to live like this. They used to live in the slum areas in a large crowd where there was no sanitary condition, no basic amenities were available, no drinking water was available, and generally due to this they used to confront with many diseases, and their lifespan was also decreased dramatically. So newcomers were forced to live in the overcrowded slums in the congested central areas of the town near factories. Why they used to prefer to live near the factories? Can you tell me the reason? Why the workers prefer to live? Because they used to be laborer in the factory, and there was no good public transport system at that time, and generally the workers who were having a meager income, they could not come from a long distance, so they used to prefer to live near their workplace, that was the factory. And generally the areas surrounding the factory are not the hygienic areas, they are full of pollution, there are no sanitary conditions. So these people used to live near the factories under these extreme conditions, while the rich inhabitants shifted to the suburban areas. Like in the last image which I shown you, that this is the image of suburban area, and this is the image of the people who used to live near the factory. So the rich people used to live in the suburban areas, and where the sanitary condition used to be better. And after the coming of the railways, the rich people used to live in the outskirts of the city, which used to be free of pollution and which was having ample greenery so that they remain healthy. Where the air was cleaner and the water safe to drink, it was available only in the suburban area. In the core of the city where the workers used to live, there was no clean air quality was very low, and drinking water was also not safe over there. But in suburban areas, these were developed by the authority later on, and the areas which used to be in suburban, they used to be very posh areas, and rich people could only afford housing over there, not the workers. Now, you can see that this is the image which tells us about the condition of working. So they used to be in large number and they used to work in the factories, and you can see that maximum workers which are visible over here. Who are these? Male or female? Female workers. So maximum number of female workers were employed. We will discuss later on why the female workers only were employed in large number, not the male workers. There must be some reason. A survey in 1842 revealed that the average lifespan of the worker was lower than any other social group in the city. So why they were having a lower lifespan? The workers who used to live in the urban areas, they were having less average life than the people who used to live in the villages or those people who used to be rich, because generally they used to drink the contaminated water, no healthy food was available, they used to live in the polluted areas, and generally these workers were infected by the infectious diseases. As a result, they used to die at a very early age. So their average lifespan was very less due to these extreme conditions of living. So this is average life of the workers in the urban areas. Like 15 years was the average life of a worker in the city of Birmingham, which was an industrial town. 17 years used to be the lifespan of the workers in Manchester. This is also known for the textile industry. And Derby, which is known for the iron and steel industry, the average lifespan of a worker was 21 years. So you can see that if we compare their average lifespan with today's average lifespan of common man, so it is much lower, and it is because of the housing problems and unsanitary condition under which they used to live. Now, more people died at a younger age in the industrial because of the disease. Population increased because of immigrants, but still, we discussed that in 1750 there were only two cities in England which were having population more than 50,000. But in 1850 there were 29. It means the population of city was increasing. And here we have discussed that people used to die in a large number due to the disease. So why the population increased in the cities? Was it a natural growth or it was something else? Can you tell me? The population increases with two ways. One is natural growth and second is other reasons. What is the difference between the two? Yes, immigration. Like in urban areas, the population is expanding rapidly. Is it the natural growth? No. Natural growth is the growth which is difference between birth and death. But there was no much difference between the birth and death. If birth rate is high, then the growth will be positive. And if the death rate is high, then growth will be negative. It means the depopulation will be there. But in England, urban areas were increasing with the population, not because of the natural growth, but because of migration. And from where people used to migrate in the urban areas. Like in India also, the urban areas are expanding very rapidly. So why there is expansion of urban areas? Can you tell me some reasons? There are better job opportunities. So the population increasing. Why it is increasing? Because the people from the surrounding rural areas come in the urban areas in the search of the job. So the population of the city is growing not because of natural growth rate, rather it is because of migration. The same kind of condition was also there the time which we are discussing over here in England. So a large of immigration was there. As a result, a large number of people shifted from the rural area to the urban area. As a result, population was increasing day by day. And since they used to live in congested areas, so that was a major cause why the lifespan was very less, and it was caused due to the epidemics like the cholera. Here it is given cholera, typhoid, and tuberculosis. These are the disease which were primarily prime disease at that time. Cholera generally is caused due to the drinking water. Typhoid was also because of contamination. It is also infectious disease. Tuberculosis is a pulmonary disease. This is the disease which is concerned to our respiratory system, and it is generally caused due to the pollution. And a large number of people used to die because of these diseases, and there was no cure available at that time. Like there is no cure for corona, it is also a respiratory disease. The same way tuberculosis was a major disease why the number of people used to die at that time. More than 31,000 people died from an outbreak of cholera in 1832, and this is also a disease which spread very rapidly. Municipal authority and medical colleges were negligent in attending these, and common people were not getting their treatment in the medical colleges at that time also. They were not attended properly by the people of the medical college. Now we will discuss about what? Women, children and industrialization. You can see that this is the image of women worker of that time. All are looking depressed. This is the image of the child labor of that time. A large number of children were employed in the industry, and they used to work in unsafe condition. You can see that how they are doing work in the machine is totally insecure, and generally they used to experience a number of accidents. Industrial revolution occurred times of important changes in the way that children and women work. Maximum workers were children and women. Children of the rural poor had always worked in the home and farm jobs under the watchful eye. So these workers, as I told you, came to the city from the rural areas. So can you compare the situation of a worker in the rural area with that of a worker in the factory? Like if I talk about a child who is working in the field along with his parents, and a worker who is also a child who is working in the factory. Is there any difference between the two? The child worker who is working in the field, generally he is accompanied by his parents and near and dear ones. So he is not working in extreme condition, and he always remains under the watchful eyes of his or her near and dear ones. As a result, he feels secure. There is no danger to his life while working in the rural area. But if the same worker is working in the factory, there are no watchful eyes. There are watchful eyes of supervisor, but he is not having that kind of empathy or sympathy as he is having with the parents. Village women were actively involved in the farm work. They used to work in their fields. They reared livestock, gathered firewood, and they used to spin yarn and spinning wheel in their homes. So these were the works which were performed by the women while living in the rural areas, but when they migrated to the city, the working condition which they experienced in their ages was quite different nowadays. They worked in the factories with long unbroken hours. Now they have to work in the factory where the working hours used to be very longer, and this used to compromise with their health, and under strict discipline and sharp form of punishment. If they are doing any mistake, they were also punished in the factories. But that kind of the earning of women and children were necessary to supplement men's meager wages. But why they working in the factories under such a harsh condition? There must be some reason. What could be the reason? Because in urban, no, because it was because of economic compulsion. In the urban areas, generally the living cost is higher than the rural area because we require more money to live in the urban areas, and that money could not be earned at that time by a male worker of the family. As a result, it was the compulsion for the female and the children to go for the working because they could supplement the income of the man of the family. So under the economic hardship, they had to work. Otherwise, women and children were not sent for working in the rural areas because living conditions in rural areas. But when the same people migrated to the urban area, due to the increasing living conditions, women and children were also compelled to work. Now you can see that this is the image and the kind of working condition. This is a child worker who is working along with the man, and here you can see that the machines are quite tightly packed, and in these tightly packed machines, maximum number of workers were the female. So why the female and children were employed in large number, that we will discuss. When the use of machinery spread, fewer workers were needed. Earlier, maximum work was done with the hand, and when we do the hand work, we required more number of people. Like earlier, there used to be handloom, where the cloth was woven with the hand. So that required a large number of weavers. But now the machines were available, so a large number of people became unemployed. As a result, there was more demand for the employment and there was less employment available. So that increased the competition between the workers. Now the workers were available at a cheaper rate, and that benefit was taken by the industrialists. So industrialists preferred to employ women and children. Why they used to prefer women and children who would be less agitated? Because generally they did not used to revolt against the working condition. If they used to employ the man, generally he used to speak against the exploitation which was done by the industrialists. But the women and children could be easily exploited by the industrialists. As a result, they used to prefer to give work to the women and children, and they could live under the poor working condition. But generally, men used to become rebellious in that kind of situation. They work for the lower wages than men. Women and children were given less wages than the adult men. As a result, they were having less production cost with the women and the children. So they used to prefer to employ the women and the children, not the men. Then women and children were employed in large number in the textile industries of the Lancashire and the Yorkshire. Why they were employed more in numbers in the textile industry? Because they were already aware about the textiles. Because earlier the women in the rural area used to sew clothes for their family. They were better, having better skill for the knitting and weaving. As a result, their traditional skill of knitting and weaving was used by the industrialists, and they were employed in the industry. Generally, men and did not used to know how they knit and weave. As a result, they were employed in less number. Women were also the main workers in the silk industry, silk lace making, knitting industry, because they were having the traditional art of weaving and knitting. And in the metallic industries of Birmingham, they were also employed, but men were also equally employed in the metallic industry. So this is a heavier job which was also done by the men. Now you can see that this is the image of a factory where the machines are tightly packed. In these kind of machines, generally adult men could not move, but the women and children could easily move. Machinery like the cotton spinning jenny was designed to be used by the child worker. The machines were also designed according to the need of the children, not according to the need of the adult man. As a result, children were employed in the large number. Because they were small enough to move between the tightly packed machines. They are more flexible. Children are generally having more flexibility. They are thinner. As a result, they could easily move in tightly packed machines, but an adult man cannot move. Because of the long hours of work, including the cleaning machines on Sunday, children were not allowed little fresh air or exercise. So all the 7 days, 24/7, there used to be work. There was no holiday. There was no paid holiday. And children who used to work in these machines, in these factories, they were called even on Sunday. And on Sunday there used to be college and of the machine. As a result, the working hours used to be very long, and children were not getting fresh air and time for exercise for their physical growth. As a result, they used to remain undernourished. Many children caught their hair in the machine and crushed their hands. While working in the tightly factories, they generally meet some accidents also. While some died, even fell into the machine as they dropped off sleep from exhaustion. Since they had to work more than 18 to 20 hours in a day. As a result, because of this back-breaking working hours, they used to be tired, and sometimes they dozed off, sometimes they used to feel asleep. As a result, if they are dozed off, they used to meet the accident, and generally their hair used to be very long, and they were also caught in the machine. Sometimes they used to lose their hands, sometimes they used to lose their legs in the machine. So that kind of accident was frequent with the children. And the condition in the coal mine was were worst as far as the children is concerned. Like you can see that this is an image of the coal mine where the space is very less, and in this space only a child can work. So they were employed in large number in the coal mines also. But the condition in the coal mine is very dangerous. Generally roof caved in or there could be explosion. Roof used to collapse and the children used to be buried under the mine, and sometimes there were also explosion in the coal mine and a large number of children died because working in the coal mine. And injuries were common. And the owner of the coal mine used to children to reach deep coal faces because the space used to be very less in the coal mine. Generally, the children were employed by the industrialists, and those where the approach path was too narrow for the adult children were employed.